Sam from SammyG's World of Cinema has tagged me in his latest video, which is a most anticipated physical media releases video, which was a response to, I think, Tim Cole's March anticipated release schedule video, which he released a couple of weeks ago, or a couple of days ago, I think it was. And Sam picked some great films that he was interested in. There isn't a huge amount of stuff released in March that I am that interested in, to be honest with you. So I've picked a few that are over the next however many months. So it's basically my most anticipated releases of the year that have been announced so far. It was very difficult to find releases that actually kind of appeal to me. So there's a few there. There's a lot of mostly recommendations. Most of the anticipated stuff that I want this year has already been released, like Demolition Man and what was it? It was Demolition Man, Masters of the Universe, and I think there was the Red Dawn media book, which first time on Blu-ray and 4K in the UK. So I've got those, so I don't really need to worry about them. There are a couple of films that I have an interest in that I'm hoping to pick up at some point. But for the most part, these are more recommendations for people who haven't seen these movies and ones that I hopefully will get at some point. So I'm not going to waffle on anymore. I'm going to switch to the other camera and I'm going to use Blu-ray.com to go through the ones that I've chosen. So if you bear with me, I will see you in a sec. Okay, so first up is King of the Ants Blu-ray, released by Treasured Films at $18.99 here in the UK. It's released on the... I can't remember. Where's the date now? It doesn't have the pre-order date on it, which doesn't help. King of the Ants is an okay film. It's not Stuart Gordon's strongest film. I think a lot of people kind of make out that it's this fucked up, like horrendous, horrific movie. It's really not. It's a revenge movie type of dealie. It's been many, many years since I've seen it, but I remember it being a bit of a letdown as a fan of Stuart Gordon's stuff. Interesting cast as well, with George Wendt and Carrie Werner from Sliders and Stephen King's Thinner. She appears as, I think, the girlfriend of Ray Matthews, which is the name of the main actor. So we've got Chris McKenna, Carrie Werner, George Wendt, Vernon Wells, Daniel Baldwin, and Lionel Mark Smith. It's directed, like I said, by Stuart Gordon. The interesting thing about King of the Ants is that it's based on a book written by Charlie Higson. Charlie Higson, if you don't know, is a very prolific comedy writer here in the UK. He is one half of the team responsible for The Fast Show, which was a rapid fire sketch show that appeared on BBC Two from 1994, I think, until 1999. I think it was that long. But he also wrote comedy sketches for Harry Enfield and for Vic Reeves and Bob Mortimer. He's sort of segued into a career as a novelist. He did write quite a few young adult novels as well. But that's what's really interesting about King of the Ants is the fact that the screenplay and the novel is written by Charlie Higson, who is Ralph from Ted and Ralph, the sketch from the Fast Show, also Swiss Tony. So yeah, there's one. King of the Ants. Obviously, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of this movie, but it's a pretty decent release from the look of things from Treasured Films. It's up for pre-order on Amazon from $18.99, and like I said, I'm not sure. It doesn't have the date for it. I don't think it does. But that's the first one. That's King of the Ants. Second is Yojimbo and Sanjuro, which are two films from the filmmaker Akira Kurosawa. Sammy put this in his video as well, and I urge everyone to pre-order this movie. $34.99 for two 4K Akira Kurosawa movies is absolutely fantastic value, considering how influential Yojimbo is on most genres, considering it was sort of remade as A Fistful of Dollars. I say sort of remade because essentially it was ripped off, and Sergio Leone got sued, if I remember rightly. I also think, if I remember rightly, it's also sort of the basis for the original Django, the 1966 Django with Franco Nero. And Sanjuro I haven't seen. I can't really comment much on Sanjuro, but all I know is that Yojimbo is a film that changed my perspective on cinema. I wrote a blog post in 2014 called Yojimbo, or How I Learned to Love Cinema Again, which I'll link in this video if you want to go and read it. It's on my old website. And yes, Yojimbo is a fantastic movie. Like I said, I can't say much about Sanjuro because I haven't seen it, but Yojimbo is just up there. 1961 it was made, 1962 Sanjuro was made. $34.99 on Amazon. I haven't got the listing for HMV, but I'm assuming it's going to be exactly the same. It's released on March 17th 2025, so it's released in 2 days, so it'll be released on Monday. This video will go up, and then yeah, so that's a really, really good value. $34.99 for Yojimbo and Sanjuro on 4K from BFI as well. Fantastic movie, Yojimbo. Next we have Trances. Trances is a 1980s sci-fi B-movie from director Charles Band. Stars Tim Thomerson as Jack Death, who is a bounty hunter from the future who's sent back in time to track down these people called Trances. Also co-stars Helen Hunt in a very early role. This is coming out on 4K from 101 Films on their black label at $24.99. It's released on the 31st of March 2025, which is pretty cool. It comes with a slip box and a booklet. And yeah, good B-movie if you're into like 80s mid-budget sort of indie movies. I guess you could say it's an indie movie. It's a Charles Band movie. Charles Band is known for making things like The Puppet Masters and like Robot Jocks and Crash and Burn and like Demonic Toys, these type of films. Trances is another great movie that his company, which I think was Full Moon at the time, might not be Full Moon, it might be the one he had previously, the company he had previously, also produced a film I watched recently called Zone Troopers. In fact, Trances is co-written by Danny Bilson, who was the director on Zone Troopers. So yeah, I mean, Trances is pretty cool. I'm glad it's coming out from 101 Films on their black label in 4K, which, yeah, absolutely fantastic. So there we go. It's a 3-disc set as well. So it comes with the 4K Ultra HD, the Blu-ray disc, and I'm assuming disc 3 is probably a disc of special features. It's either going to be on Blu-ray or it's going to be on DVD, and that is released on the 31st of March 2025 at $24.99 pre-order from Amazon. Now, jumping from 80s sci-fi B-movie, we jump to very early 90s action B-movie with the Warner Archive release of Showdown in Little Tokyo. Showdown in Little Tokyo is a stupid film, but it's a hell of a lot of fun. It stars Dolph Lundgren and a pre-The Crow Brandon Lee as two cops. It runs at 78 minutes long. It's not the longest film in the world, and it's incredibly cheesy, but it's like I said, it's a hell of a lot of fun. You can stack it next to films like Steven Seagal's Out for Justice and Big Trouble in Little China as just fun movies. And so it's getting the Warner Archive release on the 7th of April 2025. One I might actually pick up because I do enjoy that film, and I do have a DVD of it somewhere. It's £15 pre-order from Amazon, or I think you can order it from the Warner Archive website for $14.99. It's a single layer disc, and it just comes in a regular, probably a thin Blu-ray case. So yeah, April 7th, 2025 is out in 3 weeks. Warner Archive collection of Showdown in Little Tokyo also co-stars Tia Carrere. Is it Tia Carrere? I think it's Tia Carrere. I may be wrong. No, sorry. Yeah, it is Tia Carrere. It's Dolph Lundgren, Brandon Lee, Kari Hiroyuki Tagawa, Tia Carrere, and Toshishiro Obata, Philip Tan. It's directed by Mark L. Lester, who would go on to direct a lot of really low-budget action films, which generally starred people like Eric Roberts, but he also directed Commando, which is always a fun watch. So yeah, Showdown in Little Tokyo is a good fun watch if you don't take it seriously, and a recommendation. Then we have Death Rides a Horse, which is a 1967 spaghetti western starring Lee Van Cleef and John Philip Law. John Philip Law was in I believe he was in a TV show, maybe called, I think it was The Persuaders. I might be wrong. I might very well be wrong on it. I might be thinking of someone else. However, John Philip Law was also in a Italian superhero film called Danger Diabolique from like the late 60s, which was like this Italian version of like James Bond by way of Spider-Man, if you could think of it that way. But Death Rides a Horse is a pretty decent slow burn spaghetti western. Lee Van Cleef is really good in it. John Philip Law is really good in it. It's directed by Giulio Petroni. Stars Lee Van Cleef, John Philip Law, Mario Brega, Luigi Pistilli, Anthony Dawson, and Jose Torres. Anthony Dawson, now I believe that is the name that Antonio Margheriti went with when he was doing it was like the Americanized or the English version of his name, or the English name that he chose when he was trying to promote his films overseas. Antonio Margheriti is an Italian filmmaker, so it might very well be that. I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to double check on that. But yeah, it's a good slow burn western. It's getting released by Screenbound Entertainment on the 28th of April, and it doesn't have a pre-order price at the moment, but it's 120 minutes long. And yeah, it's a pretty good spaghetti western. Then we have, if my internet decides to work, we have Strange New World, science fiction at DEFA or DEFA from Eureka Entertainment, which consists of The Silent Star, Signals, A Space Adventure, Eolemia, and In the Dust of the Stars, which were made between the years 1960 and 1976. It is up for pre-order from Amazon at $44.99 and is a 3-disc set. The Strange New Worlds collection is 4 movies from the post-World War II German film studio, who did like quite a few. I don't know a huge amount about DEFA, but this does look intriguing. And as a science fiction fan, I'm intrigued to see what they look like. I like old classic science fiction, and I'm more than open to checking out science fiction from the same era as things like The Day the Earth Caught Fire and The Earth Died Screaming, but from the European's perspective, if you know what I mean. It runs 366 minutes and is released on the 19th of May 2025. I'll show you an overview if it shows it. It doesn't show the overview, but it is a box set. Yeah, there we go. It's a box set. I can't zoom. Can I zoom it out? Yes, I can zoom it out. There we go. Don't know if you can see that. That is a box set from Eureka. That is a really good price as well at $44.99, which is for 4 movies. Yeah, that's really cool. 3-disc set. If that was released by Arrow, it would probably be $79.99. So, moving on, we've got Nomads, which is a 1986 film. I think it was the directorial debut of John McTiernan, who then went on and made Die Hard and Predator. Wow, what a career. It stars, I think it's Leslie Ann Down and Pierce Brosnan. And Anna Marie Monticelli, Adam Ant, Mary Woronov, Hector Mercado. Yeah, it's directed by John McTiernan. This is getting released through Treasured Films. It's $26.99 pre-order for a non-4K release, which I think is overpriced. Probably $19.99 or $17.99 would have been an ideal price. But for $26.99, and I know that Treasured Films are an independent boutique label. They have only just started and haven't got a huge range at the moment. But for a single disc Blu-ray release, $26.99 is an astronomical price to ask for a single disc film. But yeah, it's cool. 26th of May 2025. 1986, 91 minutes. Yeah. It does have a slip box, booklet, figure, replica, props, memorabilia included. I don't need all that stuff. I just need the slip box. If they took out all the other guff that came with it and just had the slip box and a booklet and charged, I don't know, $21.99 for it, that would be a price that I might be willing to pay. I would rather pay $17.99 or $18.99 for something like this, but because $26.99 is ridiculously high for a single disc release. But it's a good film, Nomads, anyway, so worth checking that out. Then we have Arrow's release of Deep Blue Sea, which is released on Monday. $24.99 for the 4K release of Deep Blue Sea. It's shit. Deep Blue Sea is fucking awful. It's not even good that it's not even so bad it's good. It's not a very good film, and people are going absolutely apeshit over this release of a mid film. It's a shark movie with shit CGI. It's not a good film. I don't understand why everybody's going absolutely apeshit for this release. It's got a shit cover from Arrow, and this is the Blu-ray release, it's not the 4K release, but it does have a 4K as well, which I believe is 30 quid. Why the fuck are Arrow still charging 30 quid for a single movie on 4K? It's so high. Like, one of the ones I'm going to talk about in a minute is, like, you'll see in a minute when I get to it. But I'm not recommending Deep Blue Sea because it's a crap movie. Then we have Dark Knight the Scarecrow, Blu-ray from 88 Films from 1981, released on the 24th of March, 2025. $16.99 is actually a decent price for this as a new release from 88 Films. I can't knock 88 Films' pricing because they are pretty good. Like, I've picked up brand new releases of theirs in slipcases, especially the Night of the Big Heat was only $14.99, so I can't knock that. Dark Knight the Scarecrow, it was originally made as a TV movie in the States. Stars, I think it's Larry Drake. Yeah, Larry Drake, Lane Smith, Tonya Crow, and Charles Durnin, directed by Frank Della Felice. I used to own the American, I think it was Scream Factory release of this. I think it was Scream Factory. I used to own the Region A Blu-ray, and I enjoyed it. It was pretty good. I wouldn't put it up there with other horror movies. I mean, like I said, it is still a television movie that is being lauded as a fantastic horror movie. I mean, like I said, it's not a fantastic horror movie. It's a TV movie, but it's a good TV movie. It's released on 24th of March, so it's out in a week. $16.99 pre-order from Amazon, from 88 Films. Yeah, I mean, you could, if you enjoy horror movies, by all means go for it. It's a good price at $16.99 as well. Then we have this, which is from the April the 14th, 2025. It is the Dirty Harry 4K Blu-ray Steelbook Collector's Edition. $44.99 from Amazon. I can't recommend this release for the simple fact is I hate fucking steelbooks. I hate them. They are a waste of money, and everything is getting released at steelbook and is pumping the pricing up. And people are stupid enough to pay this much money. Like, why is someone like Disney have released Mandalorian and Ahsoka and Obi-Wan on physical media in 4K, but only in steelbook format, and charged £50 for it, which is which is ridiculously high. Release it by all means at that price for a steelbook, but also release a flipping standard box edition. So you can release it in this box, but with an Amaray case, and charge, I don't know, £28 for it, which is still too high, but I don't want a fucking steelbook. I hate steelbooks. They suck. However, Dirty Harry is a fantastic movie. It is a very, very good movie. In fact, all the Dirty Harry films are fantastic. But the first one, there's a shot in Dirty Harry, which is set in the football stadium. And it pulls back from Harry, and it pulls out of the stadium, but it just keeps on pulling back and back and back and back and back and back. And I don't know how the hell, is it Don Siegel? Yeah, I don't know how the hell Don Siegel shot that, because I don't know if it was done with a zoom or if it was a helicopter or what, because that is one incredible shot. But anything with Clint Eastwood is fantastic, and Dirty Harry is an amazing movie and highly recommended. Just not in a £45 steelbook. And this is what I was talking about with Arrow. Right, a few dollars more. Well, a fistful of dollars, released on the 21st of April. $29.99 for a 4K. I mean, it's a good looking set, no doubt about that. And it is a 2-disc set. It's got a Blu-ray and it's got the 4K. And it's probably going to look absolutely gorgeous. Or knowing Arrow, they'll end up doing a disc replacement because they fucked up on something. But my problem with this is, at $29.99 per movie, you're going to end up spending £90 on the three of them. So fistful of dollars, a few dollars more, and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly are going to set you back £90. When once that's out, they'll most likely release a box set, a 4K box set, at like $69.99 or £70 4K. So you would have ended up spending £20 to £30 more for the individual releases than you would if they release them as a box set. Because, like, I've got this. This is the just the Man with No Name Blu-ray trilogy. It's the MGM 90th anniversary edition. This is gonna suit me fine for however long I have. I may pick these up at some point in a sale, but at $29.99, I think it's too much to expect people, because you can't. The problem with this is, because it's the Dollars trilogy, you can't buy one without the other two, because it's the Dollars trilogy. So I think at £90 for the three, I think it's asking a bit too much, and I think Arrow are getting a bit too big for their boots. But it looks like a nice set anyway. I do love those movies. But obviously, I'm not going to prevent people from buying stuff. I mean, if you enjoy it, you enjoy it. That is fair enough. That is entirely your prerogative to spend that money. Then we have from Germany. Oh no, I left that one open. I did not realise I'd left that open. That's from last year. That is Space Truckers on German DVD or German Blu-ray. There we go. Right, on the 7th of April 2025, Arrow released the limited edition 4K HD release of The Long Kiss Goodnight, directed by Rennie Harlin and written by Shane Black, starring Samuel L. Jackson and Gina Davis. This film is badass. It is so good. Highly recommend checking this movie out. $24.99. Again, it's still too high. It should be $19.99 as it is a it's a 2-disc set. Sorry, so let me take that back. $24.99 for a 2-disc 4K release of Long Kiss Goodnight is actually pretty decent. I'm not going to knock that. So well done, Arrow. Slipcover in original pressing, reversible cover, booklet, and other stuff with it. It has this artwork, which you can see if I can, zoom it out a little bit. It has this artwork, which is clearly Charlie Baltimore, played by Gina Davis, looking at the burning bridge that she blew up on Christmas Day in 1996. I don't know why she's there watching it, because she was on the fucking bridge. However, I do not like this artwork. I think it doesn't show what the film is. It's colourful, and it kind of does give you a sense of what the film is going for, especially like she is a woman, she's holding a gun, and there's an exploding bridge in the background, and there are Christmas lights. But if you know anything about Shane Black, he writes all of his movies usually set at Christmas. I just don't like the cover. I don't like the artwork. I think it's too dark as well. However, The Long Kiss Goodnight is fucking awesome, and highly recommend checking that movie out. Best film that Rennie Harlin has ever made, and the dude kind of bankrupted an entire studio with Cutthroat Island, which also starred Gina Davis. And so I will most likely be buying this on the 7th of April. I don't know if I'll buy it on the day of release, because $24.99. But yeah, it's one I do want to add to my collection. I do have it already. I have it on DVD and I have it on Blu-ray, but I would like to see it in 4K. Then we have a very odd one. I didn't realize this was coming out, which is from out on the 21st of April from BFI. It is Brother, written and directed by Takeshi Kitano, aka Beat Takeshi, and also starring Omar Epps. This is a Japanese Yakuza movie. It was the first and only film, I believe, that Takeshi Kitano has done, which is set outside of Japan, about a gangster exiled to Los Angeles. Let me read this. Japanese gangster is exiled to Los Angeles, where his brother lives with a small but respectable multiracial gang who he inspires to expand their influence. A little bit like Abel Ferrara's King of New York with Christopher Walken. He has like a multiracial gang, which is led by Lawrence Fishburne. Christopher Walken's character is clearly a white man. I think he's called Frank White, actually. But it's been many, many, many years since I saw Brother on a really piss poor Film 4 DVD from the early days of DVD as well. And I remember it being quite a very slow burn, ethereal kind of take your time movie. But then I was 17 when I saw it. 16, 17. So I wasn't really into it at the time. However, I have grown to love gangster movies, and my patience for slower burned movies is a lot higher now than it was when I was a teenager. But this was from what I gather, it was a very good film, and I did enjoy it. I just didn't really know what I was watching. I hadn't really been exposed to Takeshi Kitano movies before until after this, when I realized that Takeshi Kitano was actually Takeshi from Takeshi's Castle. But yeah, Brother, $16.99, released by BFI, and on the 21st of April 2025. So that's a really cool sort of release. I'm apologies if I keep looking over here. It's mainly because I'm recording this on my laptop, but I have a screen, like a big screen here that I'm looking at. So, because my eyesight's so bad, I can't technically read what's on the screen on the laptop, but I can read what's on the screen on the actual monitor that's next to me. So yeah, that's the issue. And then finally we have the one that I'm 100% getting, and at 30 quid, deluxe collector's edition of Species on 4K. It is a 2-disc set. My Alexa just decided to have a chat with me. It is a 2-disc set, and yes, I understand 30 quid. I've moaned about prices before, but it is the deluxe collector's edition 4K Ultra HD. I absolutely love Species. It came out at a time when I was a teenager, and it was the booby movie. It was the movie with tits. And it was a film that I watched over and over and over again because I fell in love with Natasha Henstridge. And yeah, it's a really good, like, sort of underappreciated 90s sci-fi horror movie, especially, and like a body horror movie. And there's a pretty cool cast in it. I mean, you've got Natasha Henstridge, Michael Madsen is in it, Ben Kingsley, Forrest Whitaker, Alfred Molina, Mark Helgenberger from CSI, and Stephen King's The Tommyknockers. But it's also got a very young Michelle Williams as well, pre-Dawson's Creek, playing the young Syl, I think it was called. She's called Syl? Yeah, it's been years since I've seen Species, but I remember it being really, really, really awesome, and just like the creature designs for the character, for the alien character, this alien character, which I think she's called Syl. The creature designs were done by H.R. Giger, who did the creature designs for the Xenomorphs and the sort of production design or the production style of the Alien movies. And yeah, so it was the film. This was the film that wore out the rewind and pause buttons on my remote control as a horny teenager. But yeah, it's a very cool film. The sequel's actually pretty decent as well. I would stop at Species 2 though. The ones after it are not very good. So those are some recommendations, some not so recommendations, like this piece of crap here, Deep Blue Sea. And a few that I have some interest in over the next 4 months, I think it is. Mainly being Species, Yojimbo, and which one was it I was talking about? Long Kiss Goodnight. The others are good movies. Oh, and Showdown Little Tokyo. The others are good movies, and some not so good movies that I just wanted to recommend to you people. And yeah, it looks like the shadow is -1 pence, £11.60. There we go. So yeah, that's it. That's just Pete doing his thing, talking about his upcoming releases. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you soon. Peace. Woo.